Well, hello there, family. You're listening to Fired Up Freedom with Steve Ryan. Fired Up Freedom. All right. Do you ever look for certain services or products and it's just hard to find and you want to know if someone else has used that before? Well, visit my resources page, steveryan.com/resources, steveryan.com/resources. Today, we're going to be, I'll tell you the topics for this week. Today we're going to be talking about how do you build meaningful connections. And everybody can use that. Welcome everyone. We have a lot of people in the live stream right now. Over 63 people on TikTok live. I can't see how many on the other ones. We have some people in Twitter Spaces and also on Clubhouse as well. So tomorrow we're going to be talking about how do you get past analysis paralysis. Have you ever wanted to make a decision on something and you just can't make up your mind and you're like, what do I do? So we're going to be talking about that on tomorrow. Wednesday, we're going to be talking about how do you be effective with your time? Now, a lot of you see me in a lot of places, and I know you wonder, how does he do that and not burn out? If anything, it seems like he adds on more stuff. So I'm going to give you some strategies that I use to be effective with my time. And on Thursday, we're going to talk about what is affiliates. A lot of people don't know what affiliates are. Every single person here watching this or listening to this can build affiliate income. I'm going to tell you some things that I've done. I've been dealing with affiliate income for over 10 years and I still get it every month. Every single one of you can do it. Every single one of you. So we're going to talk about that on Thursday. And on Friday, we're going to talk about what do you do when you're not getting results? See, a lot of people will try things and go at things from different angles and they find themselves not getting anywhere, no matter how hard they try or no matter how hard they work. So I'm going to talk to you about some strategy tips. So I'm just giving you a preview of what's coming up for the week. This is going to be really, really awesome. All right. So let's get started with today. How do you build meaningful connections? So a lot of you who have been coming here, I love to make up acronyms for things. And so the way that we do these is I'm going to talk for about 5 to 10 minutes, maybe 15 at the most. And then, give or take some time. And then if anyone have any questions or any suggestions or anything like that, or want to share your experience, or if you have some knowledge on this topic you want to come up and share, there will be space for that. If someone comes up, great. If no one comes up, we'll end the audio spaces early and I'll hang out on the video spaces. That's how we do it. So sometimes this thing lasts 15 minutes. Sometimes we go an hour, but I don't go over an hour. It will be a hard stop. So if you're up talking and we're getting close to the hour, I'm just letting you know ahead of time. I do have to stop at an hour because I have another space, which is GM Creators, that I help co-host that I go to an hour from now. All right, so let's get started. That was a long introduction, 5 minutes. So welcome everyone. At the top of the Clubhouse room, and I will post it up on the Twitter once we get going. That's a link to our Discord. So if you want to talk to some other like-minded, motivational people who's like family, our Discord is a great place to go to. And for those who don't know what Discord is, it's like a chat app. You can have it on your phone or computer, and you can chat with other people. You can also share things that you're doing. All right, so let's get started. I don't know how many of you have heard of the shoe store DSW, but I was driving past DSW and I was thinking about the topic for the day. And what came to my mind was these 3 things for DSW. D for discover yourself, S for show up, and W for what value do you bring? So that's D for discover yourself, S for show up, and W for what value do you bring? I thought about these things because I thought about how have I built meaningful connections in the past with different people, and what do I do now to build meaningful connections? But before I dive into this, why is this important? Why should you even care about building meaningful connections? Well, If you're on social media, that means you're here. You're watching or listening to me on one of these platforms right now. And if you're looking to grow your audience or to grow connections or to grow with people, you're going to want to build meaningful connections. You don't have to have a product or service or anything you're selling. This can be just for people who just want to build their socials or whatever. Now, if you do have something to sell, like you're an artist or you're an entrepreneur or you're someone who have something that you're wanting to get out to people, you want to build your brand and things like that, then it's going to take connections. A lot of times, I don't know if any of you have heard the saying that sometimes it's not about what you know, but it's about who you know. Well, I find that true sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, because the who you know factor, that can get you in the door to other connections. That can get you in the door to help fast track where you're trying to go. You ever had anyone that you saw and you were like, I wonder how can I get connected to this person? Maybe they can help you in some sort of way. That's a meaningful connection. Or maybe you want to just build a community of people that you enjoy being around or who can edify you. And that's what you get from it. Or you want to build meaningful friendships. Those are meaningful connections. So it can apply to all areas, whether it's personal, friendship, or business. So that's why this topic is so important. Now, let me just drink some tea here. You can hear my voice a little hoarse. Now, the first thing, D, for discovering yourself on how to build meaningful connections. The first thing is, who are you? What is your value? Why are you doing what you're doing? You know, the first thing that I like to go on is my why. I find that going on the why are you doing what you're doing, is extremely critical. It's extremely important. And the reason why is that fuels you. That will fuel your passion. That will, you know, when I started focusing on my why for things, that's when I've had the most clarity. And your why can evolve. Why I did something 5 years ago or 10 years ago or even 3 months ago is different from, it may be different from why I'm doing what I'm doing today or what motivates me to do what I'm doing now. So why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you here? Why did this topic attract you? Is something about this topic that attracted you today? Are you looking to build meaningful connections? Are you looking, you know, why do you want to do that? What are you wanting to gain from that, if anything? So the why is so important because the reason why, without me going down a rabbit hole, it's going to help you with your messaging. It's going to help you with what you write in your bio. It's going to help with the topics you talk about. It's going to help you with how you're coming across to people. So your why is super, 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 super important. Why are you doing what you're doing? Now, if you don't know why right now in this moment, that's okay. You can go on this self-discovery of the why. I believe we have that kind of topic coming up more sooner than later. How do you discover your why? It's an ever-evolving thing. You know, it's not a right or wrong answer to it, and it's okay if it changes. But at least starting to think about it is going to help open up that door and draw some answers to you over time. You know, you'll be amazed at how that works when you have this focus and clarity on, I really want to know why of this. I'm a strong believer in the power of manifestation, but I also believe that our action helps toward that as well, and not just thinking about it, but a combination of our mindset and our actions and how we're going about things equal that power of manifestation, which is energy. Again, that's my opinion. Some others may have different opinions, but understanding your why is super important. The next thing is, what is your value? What is something that you're good at doing? You know, have you helped people before and they're like, wow, you really helped me. Like, wow, I can't believe you helped me with this. This was amazing. Or have people complimented you on something? Or do you find yourself doing something that you find so easy, but other people may find it more difficult, but it comes so easy to you? Then that's part of discovering yourself. All right. And for anyone just joining or tuning in, we're talking about how to build meaningful connections. Right now, I'm taking a few minutes at the beginning to go over some notes that I had. Well, I just wrote the acronyms. The notes are really in my head because this is just stuff I live by. And then we're going to open up the floor for anyone who wants to come up and comment on it, things like that. I will read. I see all your comments on the video live stream. I will read that when I can focus, like when someone else is talking. So thank you for being here and just be patient with me a few more minutes. So far, we've been talking about discovering yourself. And the acronym came to me, like I said at the beginning, when I was driving past this shoe store called DSW. So D for discover yourself, S for show up, and W for what value do you bring. Now, I know I jumped a little bit ahead on the value piece, but we'll circle back around to that. But before I move on to showing up, discovering yourself also is about the confidence that you have in yourself. This is why we've talked about a range of topics. Like recently we talked about self-doubt. Recently we talked about how do you deal with abandonment issues. We've also talked about how do you deal with imposter syndrome. And a lot of people shared some great things. Those will be some great replays to listen to or great videos to watch as I release the videos and podcasts of it in the future. All of these things are connected to discovering yourself. Every single one of those things. And the confidence of who you are. Now, I want to say this to you. Your value can be making someone smile. Like right now, I'm looking at Clubhouse. I see Nancy in there. I met her in person in Puerto Rico, and she's a lovely person that really, everywhere she goes, she lights up the room. She's always laughing. Someone could be having a bad day. And if Nancy comes in the room or comes around them and she's laughing and she's having a good time, that could brighten up their day. That could be the difference between someone's decision on something. And now they're in a better mood and now that might help them. That might be life-changing for them. So I'm a firm believer that every single person has value. Every single person. Whether you make someone smile, whether you're being a friend to someone, or whether you have certain business values, all of us have some kind of value. My hope today is that if you don't think you have value, that this conversation right now will open up your mind to where it frees you up mentally to know, I do have value. You know, you do matter. Seriously, this is not just some motivational mumbo jumbo. This is real. These are some strategies and techniques that will help you toward building meaningful connections. Understanding who you are, or at least starting on your journey to understanding who you are, that's going to help you when it comes to discovering yourself. This is why I love this one so much. This is really the longest part of the topic because this is the most important piece of the topic. All right. So the next thing is showing up. Now, the reason why at first I was going to write show up for yourself, and then I was going to change it to show up for others. And then I'm like, wait a minute. It's a combination of both. So let's talk about both of those for a moment. How do you show up for yourself? Well, part of showing up for yourself is not neglecting yourself. You know, not understanding that it's okay to be a little bit selfish in a way of yourself, what's the word I'm looking for here? Of not neglecting yourself, like taking care of yourself first. I was on the airplane and I recorded a video on the airplane and I released it as a TikTok and other videos to where the flight attendant had just got finished saying their message of, you know, if the masks come down, put on your mask first before you can help someone else with their mask. And the reason for that is that if you don't put on your mask first, and let's say there's an oxygen problem inside of the plane, you might pass out and you're trying to help someone else put their mask on. If you're passed out because you've lost your own oxygen, how can you help them? So part of showing up for yourself is thinking about what is your mental health like? Today, Dave 5000 had wrote that today is World Mental Health Day. I didn't know that. So it's a great thing to bring up in the middle of this. How is your mental health? Are you asking yourself, are you okay? Are you taking time out for yourself? Are you taking time out to have a break from things? Are you taking time out to ask yourself, what do I want? You know what I mean? It's okay to show up for yourself. It's okay. Like for example, right now, when I'm doing this not just for you all, but for me too. So rather 0 people show up or rather hundreds of people show up, I'm still going to be here. Because not only am I providing this information for all of you in real time right now, but I'm also recording this for my podcast. And I'm also recording this for both my audio and video podcast. And these are part of some topics that I'm writing in a book. You see what I mean? So this is helping me because, this is part of why I'm showing up. Now, helping whoever comes up here and want to hear this information, that's a bonus. That's awesome. I get to hear other people's perspective. We get to interact. That piece is so awesome. I see the hands raised. I'm gonna focus on bringing y'all up in just a moment. So showing up for yourself is not a bad thing. Now, showing up for others, this is what I mean by that. Sometimes I get these messages from people that I barely know them, or I may not know them, and they're sending me a message asking something. There's an ask in the message. Now, I'm not saying that is something always wrong with that, but it's almost like if I don't know you and I don't have a relationship with you, and the first message I see for you is you asking something, what comes to my mind is what you're asking of me, is that going to give me any value? Or is it just you looking for another sale? You get what I mean? I'm not saying that there's an absolute answer to this, but for the people who don't show up, they're never there. They're not building relationships. They're not building connections. And they just go around just asking. And what they're asking for only benefits them. They're not giving any value to someone else. I'm sorry if this is offensive, but I call that being a parasite. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to call it. I won't say that's the case for 100% of most cases. But for example, some people say, well, Steve, how do I grow my social media following? And my first question is, well, are you going and engaging on other people's socials? Are you actually taking the time to look at what other people are posting, whether it's a video post or a text post? Are you actually leaving a meaningful comment? Or, you know what I mean? Are you showing up for others in that way? So basically, you're wanting people to come and support you, but you don't support other people. You get what I mean? It doesn't make sense. So showing up, it's a two-way street. I don't feel like it's a problem with asking for things, but I feel like if you find a way to bring some kind of value, especially if you don't have a relationship with the person you're asking for, then it's okay. Using each other is okay. It's called bartering. It's mutual usage. That's what economy is. You go to Walmart or the grocery store, you're exchanging money for a product. That's using each other. They want your currency and you want their product or their service. That's okay. But the topic of today is how to build meaningful connections. And the reason why the very first thing we covered was about discovering yourself, which is also discovering your value and your why, that helps you to know, what do you offer people? What do you have to bring to people? Like I used the example of Nancy that was in here earlier. I used an example of that. She brings light and joy to people. Everywhere she goes, there's a smile, there's a laugh. Like when I think of Nancy, that's my impression of her. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to be around her and not smile at some point, So part of her value that she has is bringing happiness to people. Someone else's value may be bringing knowledge to people. Everyone have a different way that they do things. Some people may be more animated. Some people may be more drier with it. It's no right or wrong with it. It's all okay. So when you're asking for something or when you're communicating with people, think about, why are you doing what you're doing? And if you're going to ask someone something, what value do you bring to them? So we was in a coffee and Gary Henderson was mentioning something about, I don't remember the exact words, that he was sending someone on YouTube who have a large following a message, and the message he sent to them, I'm going to paraphrase because I don't remember exactly what his words were, but he was pretty much letting them know, like, hey, have you ever thought about a tokenized economy for yourself, for your audience, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. In other words, it wasn't just, hey, come on over here and check out my social connector. Hey, come over here and check out my Gary Code. It was more of like, have you thought about this? Like, this is something that can benefit you. You see what I mean? So although he asked in the message, it was okay because he presented it in a way to where he showed them how it could benefit them. Brilliant. All right. So let's move on to W, and then the floor is open on Clubhouse and on Twitter Spaces. If you want to come up, just send in a request, and I'll get to your request, and I'll just announce who's coming up so we can have an orderly fashion. And as far as you on the video comments, I'll get to you momentarily. All right. What value do you bring? This one is short because I've already talked about it. What value do you bring? So, in other words, building meaningful connections, in my opinion, is about when people see your name pop up, whether it's on a message or a phone or see you somewhere, not that we have to care about everyone's opinions, but is the first thing that comes to their mind, oh, what do they want now? What are they selling now? Here we go. Or is it like, oh, okay, hey, you get what I mean? Part of that is reputation. Now, it's okay to set boundaries. So if people are coming at you, it's the same thing. One thing that I did not add on here that I should have added on here is, what value do the connections that you have mean to you? If it's just personal friendship, that's okay. That's valuable too. But if it's not personal friendship, and let's say it's business, what value does that, what kind of value is it to you? Is this someone who's just trying to take and drain your energy and just always want to take? Or is it someone who can actually bring value to you? That's part of showing up for yourself as well. That's okay. It's nothing wrong with wanting to have people in your life that have some kind of value. It doesn't make you a good or a bad person. I'm going to say one more thing, and then we can get to any comments. One thing that really, really frustrates me is when people use the word selfish as a weapon. Oh, you're being selfish. Or, oh, you don't care about what's going on with anyone else. Things like that. And to use it in a way of manipulation of, well, don't be selfish, help me. It's like, I know I don't know everything, but I wasn't born yesterday. You know that saying, or whatever that saying is like. So anyway, that's all I have for y'all. So let's get some people up. I know Nancy had her hand up over on Clubhouse, so I'm going to send her an invite. She moved over to Twitter, and and I'm not sure if Nathan had his hand up, but I'll invite him as well. Welcome everyone. Oh, I see Craig. Here we go. And Isna. Okay. Let me make sure the volumes are up. And for all the video people, by the way, if you want to participate on the audio version of the chat, just go to steveryan.com/spaces, and there's a link right there that will take you right here to this Twitter space. See all these icons right here? I'm showing it to you on TikTok. I'm showing it to you on Instagram. I'm showing it to you on the other video. See, these icons are people. And what you're about to hear is these people talk. And as they talk, you're going to see their icons right here because I'm holding it up. So if you want to come and talk, like somebody came from TikTok, Farrah came and talked in the Twitter space recently, then come on over and talk. All right. Welcome up. Oh, cricket. Hey, Nancy.
Thank you so much. You are so kind. What generous words that you had for me today. I was over in the Clubhouse space, and then all of a sudden you muted yourself over there. So we were
really?
there going, yeah.
Oh no.
Steve, turn on your microphone. And so we abandoned ship and came over to Twitter, just so you know.
No.
But thank you so much. I am smiling right now. You do give me a big smile. But it is important that we support each other with, no expectations, but with integrity. And just really excited this morning to be on your space. I appreciate you.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, I had to use you as an example because, because it's true. like, and the thing is, that was my impression of you even before meeting you in Puerto Rico. So, so that's a meaningful connection, a perfect example. All right, then we have Isna up next, and then Craig.
Hi, Steve.
Hey, Isna.
Nancy, Craig, everyone here. It's so nice to come into your room today and see this topic. And I did want to talk about how I learned more about building meaningful relationships and connections, because there's a difference when we follow somebody.
Fired Up Freedom will be right back after these messages. Do you ever have moments where you feel stress, anxiety, or it's hard to sleep? Then meditation may be the perfect thing to help you. Come and join our meditation channel where there's 24 hours a day on-demand meditation music. Go to steveryan.com/meditation. That's steveryan.com/meditation. It's time to have freedom from the noise.
No, I just wanted to say briefly that it's something really wonderful I've observed is she takes an interest and she shows that curiosity, and as a result we get to know her principles and her values, and I think it's what builds that strong, loyal connection and compatibility and trust. And I think, especially in the Web3 space, if we trust someone too soon, then that's not the way to go. So you can have a few conversations, observe what's going on around you, be cognizant of what people think, believe, perceive. So that is something, and such a person is an intelligent person, I believe. So it's not about her at all. It's about you. And that's something to be appreciated and talked about. So thank you for bringing me up, Steve.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, Craig, batter up, Craig. And then we have Chima after Craig.
Sorry, I didn't know you were going to talk after. My bad.
Oh, no, I didn't say anything. I was waiting for you.
I'm just so excited. No, but I appreciate you letting me share it. I'll be honest, like they spoke about a lot of the things I was going to mention. And one of the things that I've just learned with the amazing people that have something to give is that they're always looking to give back. That's something that I instantly notice. And people that are always looking for something, they're never actually following through on the small things that you might ask of them. Like, oh yeah, could you go just fill out that form real quick? And then cool, yeah, totally looking forward to helping you and working with you. Let's do it. Yeah, cool. So definitely, I mean, I guess the one thing about meaningful connections that I found is that those are the people that I look for. Like, not only are they excited to actually talk with you and learn and then also share, but then they actually have the action piece when you're not talking to that person in person. And I think that that's one of the ways that I've been able to just, I mean, it's totally cool. Like, if we're just friends and you don't actually want to work with me, totally understand. Not everybody wants to work with me. I get that. But the thing is just that if you say you're going to do something, but you don't, that kind of starts the red flag process of, well, I guess that's not the working relationship. It's just going to be more of a friendship. And that's just kind of, I guess, the piece that kind of resonated with me with the meaningful connections. And thanks so much for the space. So happy that you do these every morning. Thanks, Steve.
Fired Up Freedom will be right back after these messages. Do you ever look for certain services or products and it's just hard to find and you want to know if someone else has used that before? Well, visit my resources page, steveryan.com/resources, steveryan.com/resources.
All right. Thank you very much for having me on the space this morning. Actually, my name is Chima Precious, not Chima.
Oh, sorry about that.
All right, no problem. I'm in Nigeria and I'm Igbo precisely. So, I would like to add some meaningful contributions to the topic. How do you build meaningful connections? Okay, firstly, I like to let people know that any field you find yourself in, like anything you want to do, that's yearning for success, you're aspiring for success, the best thing you do is you find people who are like-minded as you are. You find the set of people who are also motivated for success, who are also inspired, people who are striving for success just like you are. So together, when you find these people, you build a support system. Okay, so that maybe when you're like flagging behind or when you're like down, these people could like motivate you, bring you up, push you to keep going. Okay, so the very first important thing is that you find the same kind of like-minded people, just like you. So together, you guys could like push yourselves. Now, how do you find this kind of people? Like for me now, I'm a student. Okay, so like, how do you find this kind of people? You go on spaces, you go on seminars, you go out there, you speak. Now there's something with human nature. Value attracts value. So like when you go on these spaces, you go on these seminars, you speak, people who are also valuable, when they see a vision when they see a vision in you, they'll be attracted to that vision. So like it's not like the law of attraction. They become attracted to you. Okay. So from there now you now build this support system. Okay. So now how do you maintain the connection? You maintain the connection by like checking up on people regularly. You check up on them, you text them, you know what's up, what's going on with you. So that's how you build it. So from there now, you build a connection. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Oh, absolutely. That was a wonderful contribution, especially the value, like value attracts value. And that's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. So what we have Nathan up next. Hey, Nathan. First of all, were you able to hear any part of what we talked about over there, or was it mute the whole time?
Yeah, it was mute. Well, I heard the start and then it went to mute. So maybe the last 15 minutes I missed, and now everyone's come up to speak. So yeah, that's how it was. And he said the same, and now in answer.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, batter up, Nathan.
Yeah. Let's give it some. About building meaningful connections. A number of things I've learned since I've joined their clubhouse and doing a lot of speaking. So it's about people are seeing me every day. Normally they will see me posting on Twitter every day, but now I have a voice that goes behind those posts. It goes in front of those posts even. So I am building like community. I'm making connections. Every day I turn up. Every day I speak. I'm building another person that gives me a following. Another person offered me like he can get me global on stages and speaking on TED Talks and that. But he wanted to charge me like £2,500. I just said, listen, with what I've got, I don't believe that I will be needing your services. I can get on that global stage. I've got a big following already. Now, from that is there's certain terms that come up, and one of them is credibility. Are you credible? And I am building that credibility now. And I now have a number of people that start inviting me into their rooms and groups, and like from what I've built already, I've made connections now, and I've been put into a house, which is Gary Henderson's house, the giraffe's house, got given a giraffe. And this year, like now I know, and I feel a lot more confident that where I'm at now, when I do drop the artwork, I know there's people already there that will take it. And that is just what building meaningful connections. You know, there's people that followed me, and I've got to say this, in a room, there's been a lot of trouble on Clubhouse, yeah? Now, in one particular room, there's a number of people that I had respect for, and I was trying to give them some advice to save them from being scammed, and they, like, mocked me. Yeah, they laughed at me. Now, they are not building a connection with me. Yeah, they've lost that meaningful connection that I had. they won't be able to attend any art exhibition that I put on. They won't be able to buy any artwork that I sell. Those people, that's what, you can lose that meaningful connection overnight. So you always got to represent yourself like 100% better than what people expect of you. Because everything that is you, you represent your brand. And I don't swear on Twitter, I don't post my personal humour anymore, because my humour is quite dark and I would lose my connections. So 100% every day, you don't even get a day off. Represent yourself 100% positive, be clean, and keep the connection. Over and out.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Really, really, really appreciate that.
Running from myself at times, I can't describe the words I try.